Have you ever heard about the staircases deep in the woods? The ones that lead nowhere, but people claim they aren't safe to climb? Tonight, I'm telling you a story that might make you think twice before stepping off the trail. If you love terrifying mysteries, make sure to hit like and subscribe because this one will haunt you long after it's over. They always tell you not to go looking for things like this. I should have listened. I've spent years documenting urban legends, chasing ghosts, debunking myths. I don't believe in demons or curses or monsters lurking in the dark. What I do believe in is fear, the way it spreads, the way it twists reality. But sometimes fear is justified. This story isn't for thrill seekers or skeptics. It's a warning. It started with a message buried in an online forum. A discussion about strange, isolated staircases appearing in forests all over the country. No ruins, no structures, just staircases standing alone, leading nowhere. Some looked ancient, crumbling with age. Others looked pristine, as if someone had just finished building them. Hikers, rangers, and wanderers shared their experiences. Some swore the staircases carried an unnatural stillness. No birds sang. No wind rustled the leaves. A few people claimed that after climbing them, they suffered hallucinations, missing time, or a deep, unsettling paranoia. Others were never heard from again. Most people dismiss the stories as internet creepypasta, but I've built a career investigating things like this. And when I found an account from a retired park ranger who swore that his coworker climbed a set of stairs and simply vanished, I knew I had to see for myself. I had no idea what I was walking into. The staircase I was looking for was supposedly deep in Black Hollow Forest, a stretch of wilderness in the Pacific Northwest that had more missing persons reports than any other park in the state. The locals knew about the stairs. They just didn't like talking about them. I stopped at a gas station on my way into town and asked the attendant if he'd ever seen them. He looked at me like I'd just spit on his shoes. "You don't want to mess with that," he muttered. "It's just a staircase," I said. "It's not." I pushed him for details, but he just shook his head and rang up my coffee. At the ranger station, I asked about any missing persons cases or strange reports in the forest. The ranger, an older man with a weathered face, sighed before answering. "People go missing in the woods all the time. That's not news. But staircases?" I asked. That made him pause. "If you see one, turn around. Walk the other way." "What?" He didn't answer. I should have listened. I set out the next morning. The air was crisp, the forest alive with birdsong. Normal. Nothing strange. I followed the GPS coordinates I'd found online, hiking deep into the woods, miles past any marked trails. Then the forest changed. The air became still. No birds. No wind. Just the sound of my own footsteps crunching against dead leaves. I should have turned back, but I kept walking. And then I saw it. A staircase, standing alone in a clearing. It was old, made of stone, covered in moss. It looked like it had been carved out of some ancient ruin, but there were no ruins. Just the stairs, leading up to nowhere. I approached cautiously, my camera rolling. "This is it," I whispered into the mic, "the Black Hollow staircase. It's just here. No foundation. No sign of a building. Nothing." I ran my hand along the stone. It was smooth. Too smooth, like it had been polished. The air around it felt wrong. Thick, charged, like the pressure before a storm. Then I noticed something else. There were no signs of life. No moss growing on the actual steps. No dirt. No leaves. The forest had reclaimed everything around it, but the stairs remained untouched. Something in my gut twisted. I stepped back. Then I did something stupid. I picked up a rock and tossed it at the staircase. IT didn't hit the steps. IT just disappeared. I blinked, my breath hitching. I took a step closer and reached out with my hand. The moment my fingers brushed the first step, a wave of nausea rolled over me. The forest seemed to lurch, like the ground beneath me had shifted. I swallowed hard. My head was screaming at me to stop. But my curiosity was louder. I placed my foot on the first step, and I climbed. The moment my foot touched the second step, the world around me shifted. It wasn't obvious at first. Just a subtle change. The air felt heavier, like I was moving through water. The forest was silent, too silent. I paused, listening, but all I could hear was the pounding of my own heart. I kept climbing. With each step, the trees around me seemed to bend. Not in the wind, there was no wind, but as if they were leaning away from me, recoiling. My breath felt too loud, too sharp. I looked down. I should have been no more than 6 or 7 feet off the ground. But when I looked, the forest floor was further away than it should have been. I turned my head back up. That's when I saw the figure. At the top of the staircase. It was just standing there, motionless, watching me. No details, just a shape, like a shadow cut out of the air. I froze. My instinct screamed at me to go back, to run. But when I looked down again, the ground was gone. There was no forest beneath me, no trees, no earth, just an endless stretch of black, like the world had been swallowed. My stomach lurched. I was standing on a staircase floating in nothingness, and the figure at the top, it took a step toward me. I couldn't breathe. The figure at the top of the stairs didn't move like a person. It didn't shift its weight or sway. It was stiff, unnatural. Its presence nodded something deep in my brain, something primal, something that told me I wasn't supposed to see it. I forced myself to look away. I needed to get down. I turned. The steps behind me were gone, where they had been. There was only blackness. My pulse thundered in my ears. My mind fought against what I was seeing. I had climbed maybe a dozen steps. I should have been able to turn and walk back down. But the bottom was gone. The only way was up. The air felt thick in my lungs. The figure was closer. I didn't see it move, but it was closer. I gripped the handrail, cold, smooth stone, and forced my legs to move. One step, then another. My body was ice, but I climbed. I climbed because I had no other choice. I kept my eyes down. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to know what would happen if I did. But the closer I got to the top, the harder it became to ignore. A presence, pressing against me. Cold breath on the back of my neck. I climbed faster. I reached the last step, and then I stepped onto the final stair. The air was wrong. It didn't feel like air at all, more like stepping through a film of something thick and invisible. My ears rang. My vision blurred. I felt like I was standing in 2 places at once, like my body was lagging behind my mind. I swallowed hard and looked up. The figure was gone. I was standing on a small stone platform, suspended in an endless black void. No sky, no ground, just emptiness in all directions, and then a sound, not from behind me, not from above, from beneath. I looked down at my feet. There was something there. Something in the stone. A reflection. No, not a reflection. A face. My face. But it wasn't mimicking me. It wasn't copying my expression. It was staring up at me with wide, unblinking eyes, mouth slightly open like it was trying to speak. I staggered back. My stomach flipped. The stone beneath my feet was not solid. It was thin, like glass, and beneath it, there were others, dozens, hundreds, faces pressed against the underside of the surface, mouths frozen in silent screams, eyes bulging, pleading. Trapped. I felt my foot sink. The platform was softening. My body was getting heavier. I was sinking into the stone. I gasped and tried to move, but my legs wouldn't respond. My fingers twitched uselessly. My reflection was grinning, not me. The thing in the stone. It smiled, and I felt something sharp and cold wrap around my ankles, dragging me down. I opened my mouth to scream. I was falling. Or maybe I wasn't. There was no sense of motion, but the blackness swallowed me whole. I could still feel my body, my hands, my legs, my pounding heart, but I couldn't see. I tried to scream, but the sound never left my throat. Then a whisper. It slithered through the void, curling around me, pressing into my ears. Keep climbing, I gasped, my body jerking violently, and suddenly, I was standing. I was back on the staircase. At the bottom. My breath hitched. My chest heaved. The trees surrounded me again, the same dense, silent forest. The world looked normal except for the stairs. They loomed ahead, untouched, unmoving. As if I had never climbed them at all. I staggered backward, my mind screaming at me to run, to get the hell out. My body, however, had other plans. I turned on my camera. I had to see what I recorded. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the footage. The Thai code was wrong, skipping, glitching. But the video played. It showed me walking up the stairs, then static, then me, walking back down, calm, unbothered, my face blank. But I don't remember coming down. I don't remember leaving. Then, in the final frame, just before the video cut out, something stepped onto the staircase behind me, something that looked like me, and it smiled. I ran. I don't remember how I got back to my car, how I navigated the endless trees without losing my way. But somehow I did. I drove through the night, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I didn't stop until I reached my apartment, locked the door, and pulled the curtains shut. I didn't sleep. I spent hours replaying the footage, trying to make sense of it, trying to convince myself it was some kind of mistake, a hallucination, a camera glitch. But deep down, I knew that whatever came back from that staircase, it wasn't me. At first, it was just little things. A wrong word here, a missed memory there. I'd wake up in places I didn't remember falling asleep. My reflection felt off. It held my gaze a little too long, smiled when I wasn't smiling. Then I started hearing the whispers. Keep climbing. I stopped looking in mirrors, stopped watching my footage, stopped sleeping. I don't know how much time I have left, because the thing in the video, the thing that came back, it's still here. It's wearing my face. It's living my life, and I don't think I'm the one in control anymore. I see it in my reflection, watching, waiting, smiling. And when I close my eyes, I'm back on the staircase, and I'm still climbing.